Hey everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are on episode 46.
46.
Part 1 of the M's. Yay!
New letter.
In fact, I was looking last night at what we've played so far versus what's still on the list to play, and we are about halfway through. Yay! Anyway, but before we get started, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content, and of course hit that bell icon if you want notification of future content.
Or follow the link below, and you can find there all of our social media.
Yeah. Or maybe and, not just or. You can do both. Just saying. Let's get started.
Anyway, as you said, we are halfway through this 10-year project.
It's not 10 years. It keeps getting longer in your mind, doesn't
Next
it?
video will be at 20. Anyway, so we have a lot of games from the travel collection.
We do. We have a few from ours, but yeah.
We have...
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yeah, this is mostly travel collection. Sorry.
It is.
But watch, there is some decent games in here,
There
even
are.
from the travel collection.
Yeah. Okay.
So
ready?
we're going to start off with one of them from the travel collection. This is Mad Grab.
Gab.
Mad Gab. And this one's hard to put the box on wrong.
Anyway, all right, so Mad Gab is essentially a trivia game. I mean, sure, everybody has seen this box in probably every Goodwill you've ever walked into.
It's not really a trivia game, is it?
It's
you're trying to figure out the word that they're saying.
Yes, that's true. It's not a trivia game.
Because it's if somebody mumbled a word to you, and then you got to figure out what the heck they're trying to say.
What are you trying to say? Anyway, so the idea with this one is that there's two sides of the card, so you've got a lot of options on here. And you're sticking cards in. So you start off with the cards like so. And then you play this in teams.
No, you start like this.
Well, no, you start like this because you don't want them to see it yet. So you do this, and then when the timer, you hit the timer. And the timer's on 1 right now. You hit the timer. Okay, that's loud. I'm not going to keep that going. And then you flip it up. And now the other team has to figure out what this phrase is. So what is this one? Which Wade hid ego? Which Wade hid ego? Any idea?
Which way did he go?
Yeah. You already looked at it, didn't you?
No, not at all.
Anyway, so if they get it right, then you pull this card out, they get this card, and now you have to start on the next one. You have till the timer goes off to try to do all 3. That's essentially what it is.
But then if the other team, it says it's a 2-player game. Let's start there.
No,
it
does
says
not.
It's not a 2-player game.
Well, maybe if 2 players gets this kind of game.
This is not a 2-player game.
Not, yeah.
You need the other people to bounce off what's going on.
I think so too. I think this would be hysterical in a large setting. New Year's Eve, late at night. Maybe this is something we do for the 24. I don't know. This would be hysterical with the right group of people and even the wrong group of people, just bouncing ideas off of each
What's
other
exactly
as to
the
what
wrong
this is.
group of people?
I don't know. People who don't enjoy this kind of game. I don't know.
So why would they want to play it?
Okay, anyway. It's an interesting game. It's not us, that's for sure.
No, it was not us.
However, I didn't even look at what the score was on this one. Because our rule is always, if it doesn't hit with us, we go to the score on BGG.
It was 3-2.
Well, no, I don't mean that. I mean on BGG.
Oh, the rating
But
of this game.
we decided that even though it's not a hit for us by any shape, I think this is a great game in a large group of people. So we're going to hold on to it. This will sit in the travel collection and go to events as a party game. And we'll see how it does. And then, if it doesn't go anywhere, then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So, but anyway, that is Mad Gab. How does this go back in here? I think that goes like that. There we go. Ha. Anyway, yes, that is Mad Gab. It is an interesting party game about trying to figure out what somebody is trying to say to you, only you're reading the words instead of, it's not telephone. You're just reading them and trying to figure out what the heck they're trying to say. Yeah, interesting. Mad Gab will stay in the travel collection, though.
Anyway,
Yeah.
next game.
You'd think I'd be much better at it than I am.
Okay. Next game is a little bitty game called Mad Dash. 3 minutes across America. This game has a timer of 3 minutes.
So this one actually came with 2 games involved. You have your state map. Everybody gets a state map. You have this map out in front of you. You're dividing up the cards. Literally dealing the cards out to everybody. So everybody has an equal share of the deck. And then each person is trying to take their section of cards and make a route.
Make routes.
Routes.
If you can make one route of all those cards, it's
fabulous.
Great.
You're going to score points based on the routes that you put together. But you're trying to score a route that will go from one state to another without skipping any. It has to go state by state by state. All the way across the country, or as far as you can make it go, using just the cards you have in 3 minutes. So there is that timer. You can't just casually take your time. You gotta, it's a speed thing. It was okay.
Yeah, well, you're only scoring the largest route that
yes,
you make.
You're only, because if you
each card has points on
yes,
it. Yes,
so if you make 3 different routes, but you can't get them all to merge together, then you're only scoring for the largest, of course, or the one that will give you the most points, because some of them, some cards are higher.
Yeah.
Like the cards are based on how many states connect to them. Like Tennessee has, oh my gosh, how many states? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 states that connect to it. So it's only worth 1 point, because trying to find a connecting state is going to be very easy. However, New Hampshire does not. So it's worth 6 points. It's going to be much harder to find something that connects to New Hampshire. And it's the same basis. Hard. Yeah. Alaska and Hawaii are wild cards. You can hook them up anywhere. They're worth 0 points because they're wild cards, which makes no sense, but that's okay.
Yep.
So yeah,
Games.
It was okay.
Yes.
The second one was called, and gosh, I don't remember. I have completely forgotten how the second one plays. It was just that weird.
It was kind of it was a trivia thing, wasn't it?
State secrets. Yeah, it was a trivia thing, and it just did not. We couldn't make any sense out of it, so we did not play the whole game.
I think your definition was it was a easy game that they made
complex just for the heck of it.
Complex just to make it complex.
Yeah.
But anyway, the base game of this, if we're going to play a game like that, we're going to play one of the 10 days games.
Yeah, this reminds us of the 10-day series. But the 10-day series has a lot more strategy to it. So, and a lot, well, I mean, it has a lot of luck, much better components, but it's okay. That being said, we're not going to hold on to this one. We have the 10-day series, and it's already a great series. So we're going to let this one go. But that is Mad Dash, 3 minutes across America. Okay, but not going to stay.
No.
So, all right.
Next we have is Mad City.
Mad City.
This one, when we first got it, we really liked it. We played it at the our gaming store up the road here.
Yeah. All right. So the way this one plays, and I took a short video of it. I haven't even looked at the video to see if it came out. If it did, I'll show it here. If it didn't, well, you're not going to see it. So the way this plays, everybody has 8 cards, and you have somebody else draw them out for you.
8 tiles.
9 tiles. You have
you
somebody else draw them out for you because you don't want to see what's on them. So you have 9 tiles. You have a timer out in the middle of the table, and then you have this tree. And this tree sits out in the middle of the table for the first player who grabs it. It's just worth extra points at the end of the game.
It means you can score your parts.
Right. Player boards they're double-sided based on whether you're playing a base game or a standard game. The standard game, the scoring is a little different. That's where the scoring tiles come into play. The scoring, well, I'll get to that in a second. So the basis of the game, the basis of both sets of the game, you have so many seconds. When somebody flips the time over, you flip your tiles over, and you are very quickly trying to make groups. So you're trying to set up, and if you can get all your parks in one, fabulous, because that's what you want. And I can't get the parks there and keep that there. So we'll just do this. So we'll do that, and we'll do this, and we'll do that. And oh, that can't do that because that's only 9. So we'll do this instead, and I can go there, and I can go there. And yay, I grabbed the tree if I'm the first one before the timer ran out, but you know what it is. So anyway, so this is my park. This is my city. So now I am using, in the base game, I'm scoring up how many of the blue commercial And then I'm scoring points based on that here. Same with the yellow and same with the red industrial. And I'm scoring points. This guy, if I was the first to grab this, I can score my parks based on how many park icons or lake icons I have together. In this case, I have 3, so I would score 5 points. And you just keep doing that till somebody gets to 150. Done.
Mm-hmm.
It's a speed city building game.
Mm-hmm.
The flip side is that you now use these tiles where the smaller tiles, the smaller numbers, like this industrial, I only have 4. I would have to build
basically turn a dial.
Yeah, in order to be able to finally score on them.
Yeah.
So it takes a little longer because you're having to qualify to score on a lot of the pieces, but it's the same basic play. So it's a good game. It's a very quick game. I still enjoy the game every once in a while, but it doesn't come off our shelf anymore. So we did put this over in the other collection a long time ago, and it does sit there and it will stay there. It is a great 6-player game, so it plays a lot of people, which is nice. And it's very fast. Mm-hmm. It's maybe a 30-minute game, because you're playing in 1-minute increments. Yeah, 30 minutes is what the box says anyway. But yeah, that is Mad City, a speed city building game. Tile flipping, city building.
It says the manic game of parks and recreation.
Recreation.
That's recreation.
That is recreation. There's a dash in there. Okay.
And she was the journalist.
Anyway, so Mad City. It sits in the travel collection and it will stay there.
Yep.
So yeah, good one. I like it.
Next is a game called Macroscope.
This one we played last night with some friends. We've played a couple times. And this one, I enjoyed it last night a lot more than I did the first time.
Well, because our sister-in-law just skunked us.
Oh my gosh, Tony skunked us so bad. So bad in the first play of this. I mean, like 55-5, and everybody else had somewhere under 10, and she had 55 points. She skunked us. All right, so the way this one plays, this sits in the middle of the board, middle of the table. And you have a stack of this giant stack of pictures, front and back on all pages, sitting in the middle of in there. And this sits on top of it. You have these little tokens that are covering up all of the holes. And one by one, each player on your turn, you're rolling the dice and removing the numbers based on your die roll, and then you can guess. Mm-hmm. If you remove both of them and you choose not to guess, then you gain 2 point crystals. These are points. However, you open it up for everybody else to be able to guess if they want to, or they can challenge. If you guess and they think you're wrong, they can challenge you. If you're wrong, then you lose victory points equal to the number of tokens still on the board. If there are still 7 up here, you lose 7 victory points, but the person who guessed it right gains 7, based on, again, the number that's still left on the board. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at these pictures through all these little holes that are being created and trying to guess what they are. It is harder than it sounds, but at the same time, it's fun. We had a good time with it last night. So we ended up putting this on a Lazy Susan so that, because this, I mean, it's just cardboard. It's not, yeah, see, it just falls apart like that. I need to probably glue this together. But we ended up putting this on a Lazy Susan last night so we could just turn it to be in front of each person as we needed to. It really made it easy.
Yeah, because if you didn't and you're not the guesser, you'd have to get up and walk around so you can see what it looks like.
See it right side up.
Because each tile, you got this in backwards.
I do have these in backwards.
Because each tile has an arrow showing which side's face.
Which side you need to be looking at it from, yeah. Mm-hmm. It was a fun game. Mm-hmm. I will give it that. It was a lot more fun than I remembered it being from the first play. We are going to hold on to him. He does sit in the travel collection right now, and he'll stay there. It was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I think it's different. It is a very different game. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, that is Macroscope. Interesting puzzle game. Puzzly. Peek
kinda
through the
like-
curious contraptions, round holes in the image hidden inside. Can you tell a rhino from a pizza just by a few swirly lines?
Yep, I could.
Yes, you could.
Oh, yeah.
All right. But yeah, that one stayed.
Next, we have a Fantasy Flight game, which did not seem like a Fantasy Flight game or a Kevin Wilson game.
No.
This is Magdar. I always call it Madgar.
Yes, Magdar. This is one, I picked this up. This was actually, I want to say, if not the first, one of the two first. And if it's not the first, the other one's coming up, that I ever picked up
At a Goodwill?
no, not Goodwill, at Half Price Books. This was a Half Price book find very, very early. When we first started really shopping for board games, places other than game stores or Gen Con. So the way this one works, you've got your two end pieces. You've got your cave entrance and you've got Magdar's area. And Magdar sits on this side and the cave entrance sits on this side in clips. So each person has two little dwarves, indicated by these little cylinder pieces that are running up and down the tiles. On each round, there are these tiles out that have different numbers on them, and they are all laying out here on the board. Each one represents someplace you can mine for gems or you can mine for mithril. And the gems are worth points at the end of the game. The gem tokens all have, oh, here they are, anywhere from 4 points to 32 points on them. And how close you are to Magdar's area indicates how big of a gem it is to start, because they're more valuable the closer they are. They're harder to get. But the longer you stay there, you can keep swapping up for the next highest number. They keep doubling in value, essentially. However, in order to score these at the end of the game, you have to have the mithril, which takes 2 turns to mine that, because it starts out as half mined and then you fully mine it and then you bring it back. So what you're doing is you're moving your dwarves as far up toward, oh, I'm sorry, it's the other way around. You're moving your dwarves as far up toward Magdar as you dare risk. If you're right up against Magdar, then those gems are worth 8 points to start with. But if you can manage to stick there and he doesn't take your tile, it switches to 16 the next round. And then the next round, it's 32. It just keeps progressing.
Well, that's the highest you can go.
That's as high as you can go, and then
there's
you
only
take
a
it back
few
to the cave.
32s.
Yeah, there's only a couple of them. However, at the start of every round, I imagine at the start of every turn,
yes, you roll dice.
that player is rolling a die. And you're taking a tile off of the board based on these tile numbers down here and your die roll. So if you get lucky enough that the number rolled isn't represented by any of the tiles that are closest to him, then you luck out that round and nothing's removed. But if you have a 4, you're sitting on a 4 and that's the only 4 left, or if your opponent decides that that's the 4 he's going to take, then not only does that tile disappear, but you go back to the cave and you lose whatever gem you were just working on. So it is definitely a push your luck game. We've played this a couple of times now over the last 10 years, but ironically, the last time we played it was literally right when we got it back in 2015. It's been a while. This got moved from our collection to the travel collection shortly after we started that collection, after we started building that one. Oh, I forgot to put some tiles away. We've decided we're going to let this one go. It's just not one that I think is going to come off the shelf. It just doesn't look like something that anybody would ever pull off unless they were specifically, what was the name of this? A Kevin Wilson fan and wanted to check it out. But this doesn't feel like any of his other games.
No, it doesn't feel like any of his games, and it definitely does not feel like a fantasy flight game. It feels more like a Twilight
creation game, yeah.
Twilight creation game.
So, but anyway, that is Magdar. It's an interesting puzzle of a game. Definitely some take that in there if you want to go down that avenue. But it is definitely not something I could see coming off the shelf just because of the component quality and the look of the box and all that stuff put together.
It hasn't aged well.
It has not aged well. That is a good way to put it. Yeah, 2003. It's 20 years old now. But we're going to let this one go. So yeah, that is Magdar, and it is unfortunately leaving the collection.
Okay, next we have a game I wasn't real thrilled with. You liked it, but...
I thought
This
it was
is
cute.
Maask. This is a blue-orange game that you like blue-orange games.
I do really love blue-orange games.
It's a kid's game,
It is.
but we're not sure if we even played it 100% correct.
The rules were a little ambiguous on this
Mm-hmm.
one, which is surprising because blue-orange rules normally are not. However, this is an older game, so that could be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the way this one plays is the game is set up. Oh, you're right. It's down here with all these little gems, or is that what they're called? Do they call them gems? Jewels. They do call them jewels.
Okay.
Set up around the board underneath these.
Oh, that's right, because
colors.
this is supposed to be a crown.
Yes. So you get the idea. It's completely surrounded. So at the start of each round, you're rolling 2 dice, and you're looking for. So in this case, I would be looking for a blue and a yellow gem. Not 2 blues, not 2 yellows, a blue and a yellow. If I find either one, I get to keep them. But I can't keep anything I don't find, if anything else I find. So for instance, that's an orange. Nope, that's 1 peak. I don't get any more. That's a purple. Now it becomes a memory game because the next player is going to roll again and, oh, look, a purple. Where was that purple at? Oh yeah, there's the purple. Great. So he's going to get to keep that. And then he's going to look for a green. Well, nope, there's the blue I was looking for last round. But here's where the rules got a little ambiguous. Is because
it says you can choose to look at one of your opponent's time.
Say the
and
next
your
time.
own.
So say he had these. Well, no, wait a minute. Leave that blue up here. So say he already had this purple in front of him, and I roll this blue and purple now. Well, I remember this was the blue, so great. I get to take that one.
This is the part that
This
was
is
not clear in the
where
game.
this is where we were confused because now I can look and look. There's his purple. Do I get to keep his purple? Does he get to keep his purple? It doesn't say. It never states in the rules whether or not you can take them. Maybe it's supposed to be a house rule depending on the age. I mean, this is a kid's game, for goodness sakes. So I don't know. We're going to let this one leave the collection, which breaks my heart for a blue-orange game because I adore some of the kids' line of blue-orange. Like I said, I just don't like how ambiguous the rules are. Gosh darn it. Anyway, that is Maask, the Fun Race to Royalty. Unfortunately, it is going to leave the collection as well.
Next, we have Disney Magic Kingdom.
Hey, look, the box is on right.
Yep.
All right, so this one, when I first picked it up, I thought it was just like another Monopoly type game. I honestly thought that's what it was when I looked at the back of the board, and
This one has some pretty
looked
cool
like-
components to it.
I like this one. Spoilers. Okay, so the board is set up. You've got this giant board, which, I mean, this is a good size board. So you've got this giant board here, and of all the different parks, and I don't know whether this was supposed to be Disneyland or Disney World. I don't know that it's
I
got
think it's Disney World because it says...
Frontierland and it says Magic
Oh, that's
Kingdom.
right.
And I don't think Disneyland is
It's
not
just
Magic Kingdom, it's
Disneyland.
Disneyland.
It's just
So it's, yeah.
And
So-
it had the Space Mountain is not at
Okay,
Disneyland.
that's right. It has Space Mountain. So it comes with all of these beautiful standees. Now, we did find a slight problem with these, but that's beside the point. These are gorgeous.
Yeah, and it tells you where to put them all.
So yeah, it's like this is the pirate ship. So it just sits on the board like so. If you can see that. See? And then this is the castle. And of course, the castle is going to go right there in the middle of the board. So you've got these different standees that make the board pop. So there's these gorgeous pewter statues that start out right here and right here. Now, mind you, there's a train station right here. I'm just not going to put them there so you can see everything else. Because, yeah, that goes right there.
No, that one's the one back
Oh, does that
here.
go back there?
Yeah, that goes right here.
Oh, did I cover it? I covered it. Okay. So anyway, oh, and there's Space Mountain. Maybe. I can't get enough Space Mountain in there. And there's...
That's the Haunted Mansion.
That's the Haunted
Which is
Mansion.
right
He
there.
goes right there. Oh, come on,
You're
get in
going to
there.
put this entire
I
board
am going
together.
to put the whole
You're
board
only
together. Okay.
one left.
The only one I'm missing now is indeed the front station, which goes right there, which I will not leave there so you can see. Okay, and I can't get the Haunted Mansion to go in for some reason. I don't.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's okay. That's whatever. You see them. So anyway, at the start of the game, everybody plays a little family of people, different colors, family of people. And everybody gets, you've got all of these different attractions one in each of the parks. There's 5 different park areas.
Lands.
Thank you, 5 different lands. So you get one from each land. These are the attractions that your family has to visit before the game is over. This is how you win the game. The first one to visit all 5 wins the game. Simple as that. It's a race game. There's nothing to do with points, nothing. So each round you are rolling dice. You're rolling one of 2 dice. There is a train dice that if you go to one of the train stations, you can go to a different train station. But the problem is that you've got a 50-50 chance that the train is leaving on time. So you may be there before the train leaves, and you may have to wait for another turn to try to board the train again. So 50-50 chance you're going to roll the right thing. Or you can just move around the park by, the good old-fashioned legs, walking. So you roll the dice, you move that many spots along the path. If you roll a 1 or a 2, then you get to pick up, where'd they go? One of the event cards. And the event cards basically give you extra things like Minnie gives you a lift, move 3 extra spaces. Everybody loves a parade. Send another player to Main Street Parade. So a little bit of take that. You can move other players around the board, which may or may not help them because you don't know where they're trying to go. Let's see, ride the railroad. Send any player to any station. All sorts of things. So you're picking these up every time you roll a 1 or a 2 and using them whenever they seem fit. Or you may have to use them right away. Some of them you have to use right away. Actually, no, you have to use all of them right away except for the fast passes. Those you can use it later. Then there's also the autograph cards. Every time one of your players comes up to a Mickey or Donald pieces, you get to take their autograph. And their autograph basically just gives you a one-time ability, cancel one event card, and then place this card back on the game board. So you get to take this, even if somebody else has it in their hand, and you get to take it away from them. You move that character to another autograph space someplace else in the park, and then the next time somebody tries to move you somewhere you don't want to go, you can use this autograph to cancel it. And then it goes back out here to the board where the next player who visits Mickey can take it. So lots of little things going on. I really enjoyed it. It was way different than I expected it to be.
Unfortunately, this got in the way a lot.
The pieces, yes, all of the outer pieces were fine.
Yeah, there's a small trail right behind it.
Yes.
And those pieces didn't really fit well, especially if you had player pieces side by side that you were just kind of bumping it into. And with this up, it was hard to see where you were going.
This one was a problem. This one wasn't bad because once you left the front of the park, you didn't usually go back. Right. There was no attractions
because you never
up there.
get anything there.
Right. These guys were out on the edge, so they were no big deal. But the castle was a little bit of a problem. I will agree there. That did create some trouble.
But yeah,
but
I mean, it's a good kids game.
As a whole, I really enjoyed this. It was way different than I expected. I think this would have a great table presence and a family game at a game night. But that is Disney's Magic Kingdom. Just a really cute family game, and it is going to stick around. We enjoyed it.
Okay, so this is Disney. No, this is DreamWorks.
Okay.
So this is Madagascar game. Race to Escape the Island. This is box is on wrong. What else is new? This is from the first movie.
Yes. Okay, so the way this one plays. This was an interesting one. A little bit of take that in this one too, because you're sending the creatures after people. Again, I love the fact they made it. Look at this giant kids game board, and they put it into a small box. That's Milton Bradley. I was shocked because usually they'd have chosen a giant box for this.
A giant flat box.
A giant flat box like the second one. Anyway, so here's your board.
Different company.
Yeah, well that's true. Okay, so here's your board. Everybody is playing one of the 4 characters. If I can get the bag open, I will show you. So everybody's playing one of the 4 characters, and you're moving along the board. You roll a die, or no, you're playing cards out to move. You start off with 4 cards in your hand, and after you've used a card, you just simply draw another card. Some of the cards are good, some are, okay. But you're moving along. You have two choices. You can play a card out of your hand. That is not one that makes you move. To move, and you move so many spaces on the board. Or you can just, if you don't have anything to move, you can move one space and save your cards. Or you can choose to discard cards out of your hand and draw new ones if you get a bunch of cards you don't have any use for or don't want to use. However, meanwhile, there is a bad character die. And you are having to move, what do they call those guys? What were those? Those were the fossas, the fossa pawns. There are 12 fossa pawns around the board in various locations. A bunch of them start down here on the red, and some of them start here on the green, and there's another red one up here on the top. So you've got these creatures, the animals tokens around that you're trying to escape. So the ultimate goal is you're trying to get down here to the boat, to the penguin's boat, so that you can escape Madagascar. That's the whole goal of the game. However, other players are moving these guys into your path. You have to have a card or roll the die to move one off of you on your turn. That's how you get away from them. Super simple. It wasn't a complex game at all. Definitely some take that. I'm surprised at how much take that we're finding in kids' games. But I mean, kids love that kind of stuff with their parents, I guess. But yeah, that's basically how the whole game plays. It's super simple. That being said, it's an IP game. It's an older IP game. I think we decided we were letting this one go, didn't we? Yeah, I thought we did. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are going to go ahead and let this guy go, just because it's an older IP. We're trying to get the kids' collection down some. This one didn't make the cut.
Nope.
Go ahead and pull the other one out, because might as well go to that
one. This is Madagascar 2. This is from University Games.
Yeah, and this is sad because the board's half the size and in a bigger box. But,
yes.
Whatever. So you get this weird
sticker
board. Well, actually, no, that's not the sticker board. This is the game board. This is the weird sticker board. Yeah, with the little cling stickers. So how this one plays is this is essentially a memory game. Now, I will say I love these stinking pieces. I love how big these are. These are just gorgeous.
Yeah, okay.
So here's your player pieces that you are, I'm not even about to get them out. So here's your player pieces. You're moving them up based on
your spin.
Greg's favorite move mechanism, the spinner.
They're just awesome.
Yeah. So you have these tokens spread all over the board. Or all around the board, I should say. You have them spaced out around the board. And then as you spin and you're moving up, you're looking. So say I land here on, and I do not remember the name. Rosalind? What is her name? Roxanne.
Moto, it says. No, that's the other guy.
That's that one, but that's the piece.
Roxanne.
Anyway, I'm looking for this specific
tile.
That
is Moto.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not
Gloria.
her. Gloria. Okay.
No, that is Moto.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Moto.
I guess it is two different ones. All right. Anyway, I'm looking specifically for this tile. Now, mind you, they're all laid out upside down around the board. So if I land here, I'm picking up one tile and looking at it. If I happen to get the right one, I take it. If I don't, I show everybody what it was, and I flip it back over. And that's the end of my turn. The next player goes, lands here. They're doing the exact same thing.
What's his name?
That's the main character, too. And I can't remember. God, tells you how long it's been since I... What is his name?
It's Alex.
It's Alex, that's right. Okay, that was not where I was even thinking. So anyway, the idea with these silly things is once you pick that character, you take that one off and you put it on the cling board because this is who's left. So the next player to land here, and mind you, there's two of them. There's two of each one on the board. But the next player to land there, if they can remember where this was, if I haven't already taken it, then they get to pick it up. If they pick it up and take it. Whoever has the most of these at the end of the game wins. That's essentially it. It's a pretty simple memory game. But that being said, it's a memory game, and it's an IP based. It's an older IP based. We're gonna let this one go too. Number one, we have a lot of memory games, and I have a lot of memory games that are in much smaller boxes.
Yep.
And much easier to pull out.
Yes.
So,
and not have to worry about the stickers getting all
old
dirty and
yucky.
not sticking anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, that is Madagascar 2, Escape to Africa. But we are going to let this one go too. Again, just in the interest of getting the kids' collection down. This isn't the memory game I want to hold on to. So, all right, that's
that's the last of the travel collection games.
Oh, wow, it is, isn't it?
So now these are games that are currently in our collection.
Yes.
Now whether they move, you'll find out.
Yeah.
So first one up is Machi Koro or Machi Koro, or I don't remember exactly how they pronounce it now.
Your Google ass said Machi Koro.
Machi Koro.
I've heard it both ways.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so
wrong.
he kind of sort of fibbed a little bit. This one does sit in the travel collection. So this is kind of both. I found this copy at Goodwill and it's upside down too.
Well, because there's not really anything in there, is there?
No, there's not. It's literally the base game and Harbor.
Okay.
So, but this one sits in the travel collection. I found it at Goodwill a long time ago, and so it stays there. But that's that one.
And this is the Legacy box. We've played the Legacy all the way through.
Yes.
It's in here.
Yep.
And all the other expansions are in here.
We bought the deluxe version of the game in the tin a long time ago.
And it came with the expansions.
And it came with a bunch of expansions.
Except for,
and we since had another Bright Lights.
Bright Light Big City or
We
whatever.
had that. We got that expansion too. Plus we had the Legacy game. It was way too many Machi Koro boxes sitting in one cube. So after we played this, we played through the Legacy, I took, and no spoilers here, I promise, but I did this.
They read upside down, so don't worry about it.
Shush. So all of my expansions are right here in the Legacy boxes. So no matter what I want to play, and then my base game cards are all right here. Nice and easy. Done. And I'm down to one box. So hence why we have this box for everything. So the way this one plays, we also have the player mat, which I love.
This one came out before Space Base. Space Base still kind of has the same mechanics. So does Bad Company. It has you're rolling the dice mechanic. And whatever the dice say is what area is going to activate, and you're going to do whatever that card
area
or
does.
what hat.
But the collection of the cards is a little different. That's more like Card Kingdoms of Valeria Card Kingdoms, whatever. Anyway, so the way this one works, you have a series of cards, all different numbers, and I don't know why the 6s are on top. I don't know how. Oh, because they're split in half. That's why. Because there's the 1s. So you have a series of cards, 1 to 12, sit out in the player board, and this is basically the cards you're purchasing throughout the game. Each one has a certain dollar value on here. Each one has a power that activates when their number is rolled on a later turn. And the dice number you're rolling is the one up here on the top. The goal of the game, each player has 4 of these locations that they are trying to build. So everybody has, and these are a little different with each of the expansions. They come with different ones, but everybody has an amusement park, the shopping mall, the train station, and the radio station, or radio tower that they're trying to build. The first person to get all 4 built wins the game. Each one builds based on a dollar amount.
And each one has a special
power.
card.
Each one has a special ability once you build it. You keep it on the green side until you've built it, and then you can flip it over to the colored side. You start with 2 cards. One that gives you an activation on 1, and one which is a wheat field, and one that gives you an activation on a 2 or a 3.
Yep, which is a bakery.
So what happens is on the start of every player's turn, they roll 1 die until you've built the train station. Then you can roll 2 dice. But you roll 1 die, whatever that die is, a 3. Every card with a 3 right here activates, whether it's good or bad. Some of them can only activate on your turn only if you're the one who rolled the dice. Others activate when other people roll the dice. Others activate when anybody rolls the dice. It just depends on the color of the card and what the ability says. So you're doing this to gain money. All of them give you money in one fashion. The only resource in the game is money. So you're doing that to get money, to buy more cards, to give you more activations on certain dice roll. You can duplicate cards. You can have 5 of one card if you want to. Every time that die is rolled, you get to activate every single one of those cards. So if that card says gain 3 coins whenever you roll a 4, I rolled that one a lot last night, you gain 12 cards if you have 3 of, or 12 coins if you have 3 of them. Or 3 coin, never mind. You gain coins from it, but you get to activate every single one of those 4s that you have. the ultimate goal
has a symbol too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Each one has a symbol because some of them will state that some of your
like all of your coffee cups is going to score 1 extra point.
Yes.
Or all your factories are going to score 1 extra point.
Yeah. Or 1 extra coin. Yeah. The shopping mall, coin. I think it is. All of your teacups and your bread factory, your food establishments gain an extra coin every time they activate. So if you have a lot of those, then you're going to gain even more. I like this game. We don't play it nearly enough. It's so simple.
Yes.
But yet there's a lot of luck involved, like when you roll 5 6s in a row.
Yes, I was going to say that. Yeah. I've enjoyed every single play we ever had except for the last one.
Yeah, because you still won.
No, I did not win. I did not win. I came back because you had 3 of your buildings built and I had none.
Yeah.
And I had a boatload of 4s and a boatload of 2s and 3s, which was going to, and I had my mall built finally, so I was going to get a boatload of money if I did that, so I could start buying the bigger cards or building my buildings. And 6 times in a row I rolled a 6.
Yeah, and no 6s in hand.
And then you took that dice and rolled a 4.
Yep.
On the exact hand. I said, nope, I'm not rolling that dice anymore. I'm going to roll the dice you've been rolling 4s on, and I rolled a 6.
It was a rough play last night.
Oh, it hurt really bad.
But it is a great game, and there's tons of expansions and lots of card options. And the legacy cards, I've even got those still, so if we wanted to pull some of these buildings in, we could.
Yeah, because legacy, when you got done with legacy, basically you had your own customized deck.
Yeah, which is nice. So, yeah, I really enjoy this one. We are going to keep this guy in the travel collection. He is just the base game. And then we are going to hold on to this one for us. Like I said, it doesn't come off the shelf much, but now that I have it down to 1 box, it's a lot easier to contain, and everything's in one place. That makes it much easier to pull out. But yeah, that is, and I turned the box around so they could read everything right side up. Anyway, that is Machi Koro, Legacy Deluxe base game, whatever you want to call it. It's going to stick around. It's a good one.
Yep.
All right.
Next we have the Mega Vladishavaltal game, Mage Knight. This is the one you think might have been your first.
This is the other one I said might have been one of my first buys.
Books.
Yes, because I distinctly remember buying this at Half Price Books very early, and I was so excited. I found this for $45, and I knew it was an expensive game. And again, very early. I didn't know anything about the game. Had I realized it was a dudes on a map build, scenario building, I probably would
battle each other.
Yeah.
And
I probably would not have picked this up if I had known all that.
I had such high. I know people love this game.
Yes.
I unfortunately, and neither do you, like it.
I do not.
I had such high hopes for this, and we've played it 8 times now. And I don't believe in all those 8 times I even enjoyed the game once.
I think I've had a couple of enjoyable plays only because the dice worked in my favor.
Yeah,
or the cards. This is all card play.
Yeah, normally I got stuck someplace and was just not able to do anything. Yeah. And I imagine it's better if you can get newer cards in your hand, but we just couldn't get to that point where we were getting the cards.
So this one, I've got this wonderful insert too. I don't remember who I bought it from. I'd have to look it up, but it is a fabulous insert. I bought it on Etsy a long time ago. I'd even forgotten about it until we pulled it out yesterday.
Yeah, the lids hold on by magnets.
Yeah, they're all magnetized. They're great. Everything is wonderful.
Everything has its own spot.
So this one reminds me, and actually, I never put these two together until we broke this out a couple of days ago to play it for this. This reminds me a little bit of Gloomhaven. Although Gloomhaven has the 2 sides cards, you have to choose one or the other. This one still has 2 powers on it. You just have to choose which one you're going to do. You can do the top one for free. The bottom one costs you crystals, which are buried in here. I'm not going to dig them out.
Which I was having trouble getting in every game too. So,
because there's dice play that you can use temporary crystals from the dice, or you can use permanent crystals that you've gained in some fashion. But as soon as you use them, you lose them. You burn them out, and they go back into the supply. So hopefully you can build yourself up a set of cards that will continually get you more crystals. And there's ways to get crystals on the board if you stop in certain places and end your turn there. The idea with this one, though, is you've got hex boards hex tiles that I can't. They're yeah. I'm not going to go for them. Yeah, I'm not going to go for them.
You can show a picture.
I will show a picture. As they come out, certain monster tiles go onto them, which is what's in here. The monsters, some of them flip over right away so you know what you're facing. Others don't flip over until you literally walk up next to them and you face them. Mm-hmm. Some of them are okay and they're easy to beat. Others are not. And I think that was part of our big problem this last game.
The big monsters
all we got was the big ones.
Mm-hmm. We didn't have it.
Turn, I was fighting a dragon.
Yeah, in a 2-player game, you can. Yeah. It's 4 days. In the one that we played, and we played one of the cooperative ones.
Yeah, 3 days and 3 nights.
It was 3 days, so 3 nights.
Rounds.
So yeah, and you needed to really get your deck built, and you don't have time.
No.
And at least when we played, we didn't have time.
Each round, 6 rounds total, 3 day, 3 night. Each round lasts until somebody's out of their cards. That's it. Once you're out, and in a 2-player game, you've got a dummy player that is speeding the game along so that you can't dilly-dally. Which is fine, I get that.
It's taking some of the skill cards and some of the spell or getting crystals on the spell card that you're deleting every round. And it's just, the only way we could get those cards into our deck is by defeating a lot of monsters.
Which we
just could not defeat the monsters. Yeah. We were just having a heck of a time with this game. And
it brings up, we've played through Jaws of the Lion. Mm-hmm. And we enjoyed that. And it's the same premise. Yeah. It's still dudes on a map fighting through a dungeon. Mm-hmm. This one's fighting through land, but whatever. It's the same concept of a game. And we enjoyed Gloomhaven. Mm-hmm. I just did not enjoy this one. Mm-mm. I don't know. It's
people like it, though.
No, and I can totally see why people like it. I do. I get that this is a very popular game, and it's just not our kind of game. Mm-hmm. All right, so this one has sat in our collection for a very long time. We are going to move it to the travel collection, and I need to repair this box. I noticed that.
Oh.
Yeah, that ripped when we pulled it off the shelf last time. But anyway, we are going to move this to the travel collection. I want to take it, see if we can get some gaming events scheduled and see what happens, because it is a popular game. If nothing happens with it, it might very well leave the collection. I'm not sure. It's not something either of us are ever going to pull off the shelf again, though.
No.
That's for sure. So if it doesn't see some play in the travel collection, there's no sense holding shelf space for it.
Right.
So might as well move it on to somebody who can enjoy it.
Yep.
So anyway, that is Mage Knight. It's moving to the travel collection for now.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So last we have a series of games that we actually talked about. Actually? We actually talked about.
Where are you from?
Anyway, we actually talked about this on our podcast.
We did.
We compared all 3 of the games. Yeah. So we have Manhattan Project. We can start there.
Okay.
And we'll talk about each one as we bring them up.
So we played all of these right around Christmas.
Yes.
So, and a lot of them right around Christmas. This is the one my mom even sat in on one time, didn't she? Okay.
Yes, this was the first version.
Yeah, this was the first one. All right, so this one is based during World War II. This was all about, well, the dawn of the atomic age. First of all 2 of the 3 of these, I love these rule books. They are set up to look like newspapers, and I love the headlines and I love the way they did these rule books. They're so cool. All right, so this one, is that the board? Those are the player boards. I can't find the board. Let me find the board. The board is on the bottom. We'll have to repack each of these, but luckily they're easy to repack. All right, so here is your board. Your board is essentially worker placement spots. Each player has so many little workers, and each worker is allowed to go to a different spot and does something different. You have your general workers, you have your construction guys, and you have your scientists. And they may be termed something slightly different, but that's the essence of what they do.
And
contractors.
Contractors,
yes. Okay. So each one has those, and then there are some generics out there that you can gain through worker placement spots. So each of these spots, there's a series of cards up here that you are bidding on, and if you get the ones later on, they cost you more money. Down here, they're a lot cheaper, or you can get them just by sending a contractor up to pick them up. So you're doing construction actions, which is this. You can do airstrikes on other players to take out some of their buildings, which all of these essentially are buildings that you're grabbing to go onto your player board right here. And these become new worker spots for you or for other players if they engage in espionage, because that was a thing. And we each did that a couple times. You know, you engage in espionage, and depending on how many times you've done it, depends on how many workers you get to send to somebody else's board to take their actions from them, or to do their actions, because maybe they have buildings that they beat you out of and you wanted to use that building. So you're going down to the mines to grab yellow cake, and the yellow cake will help you build your plutonium bombs or your uranium bombs. You are gaining more fighters or bombers, which go up here.
Yeah, the fighters are basically your defense. Your bombers are what you're using to put bombs on or to go and bomb you.
Yes, exactly.
Bomb the other player.
So all this, like I said, all sorts of different worker spots to gain more workers, to gain cake, to start building your bombs. The idea being that the first player to a certain victory point value in bombs, and each of these bomb cards have victory point values down here at the bottom. The plutonium ones, they start off with a low value. Once you've tested one of them, then all of your future plutonium, you don't get any points for that one, but your future bombs are all worth more. So if you're going heavy into plutonium, then you're going to want to test one of your low value ones so that your future ones are worth more. The uranium bombs only have a single value. That was my winning strategy on this one. Is I didn't, to heck with testing my bombs, I went straight uranium, and I think I won
the
every
first
game
one
after
because
I figured
we were
that
both
out.
going after the same thing, and after that she just annihilated me every other game.
I did. So he picked this up from Noble Knight only because we had had the other two. Well, the first one we've had for years.
Yeah. Energy Empire we've had for years.
Yes.
Minutes to Midnight we bought at Gen Con last year.
And we really wanted to just try out all three, basically, see the differences. So we picked it up, and I think I like this one. I wouldn't be afraid to say this is my favorite of the set, honestly. Probably because I win it every time.
This is not what you said in the podcast.
Isn't it?
No. You liked Energy Empire better.
Oh.
Women in there changing their minds.
Okay, well, so I like them both apparently, because I do like this one. But that being said, I figured out the puzzle on this one, and I win it every time.
Yeah, and that was your problem. You said that you figured out the puzzle
and
really
maybe
early,
that's what it
and
is.
then that you don't think you have to play it anymore.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Okay,
Listen to the podcast.
Okay, anyway, that is Manhattan Project. No tagline on this one. So, yeah.
Yep. The next one in the line that actually came out at that time was Energy Empire. This is completely different from that one because you're no longer building the bomb. You're cleaning up the skies from the different types of energy.
And that's just it. This one, okay, so this was World War II. That one is, go ahead and pull the other one up here for just a second. We're still going to talk about this one first, but this one is the Cold War. And this is more modern day with dealing with green power.
Yes.
The birth of green power.
The rivers and forests and
Cleaning up the
skies
environment.
and all that, yeah.
So timeline-wise, this one came next.
Right.
But I think
In releases, that
this
came
one did?
next. Yes.
Okay. I thought I'd seen that it was the other way around, but maybe not. No, the 2016 and that was 2018, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
We went through this on the podcast.
Okay.
She doesn't remember
that
the
was
podcast.
like 3 weeks ago. I've slept since then. Anyway, all right.
No excuse.
All right, so Energy Empire. This one was different designers, same publisher, but different designers. The rule book is completely different. You lost that newspaper feel. It's more like a normal rule book. So, again, lots of components. The components are great. No arguments there. Everybody has their player board. The idea with the player board is you are basically trying to keep this area from getting polluted. This one basically tells you the dice breakdown because this one has dice that you're rolling occasionally. And then the rest of it's just for storing stuff. Storing achievements, storing your resources, whatnot. But this is the heart of it where you're trying to keep your area from being polluted. Meanwhile, you have your board that is, again, worker placement areas. That's the crust of these games, is worker placement. So this board is divided into 3 areas. Each area is something a little different. Now you have cards that, as you are picking cards up from up here, you can activate those cards anytime you do something in this area. So if I do something in the green area, I can activate any green cards on my board if I choose to, but I cannot activate my yellow ones until I go do something in the yellow area. And
go to one of these 4 areas.
Yes, and there's 4 areas here, well, 4 areas in these two. There's 5 in this area, because this one allows you to start buying extra dice. And the dice give you benefits in terms of how much energy you get each round.
But a lot of them give you pollution.
It gives you pollution. So it's a kind of a double-edged sword there. So all of these are basically resource management areas. This, you get resources. This one, you get money. You can pay for barrels of oil. So again, you get resources or sell barrels of oil.
Barrels of oil, when you go to roll, are actually brown dice. You can trade those in for the brown dice.
You can trade them in for brown dice, which
temporary.
are very polluted.
Yes.
Unfortunately, as you would expect from barrels of oil. Over here, it's more about cleaning up the environment. You can trade in science tokens for environmental actions, basically, where you can clean up some of these. I think it's an interesting game. I really do. This is the first one we owned.
Yes.
So we've played this one prior to this series. And I really liked it. I liked it then too. I love the components. These are all base components. We didn't upgrade any of these, but little steel beams are just wood. And these cubes are gorgeous. These big fat cubes. And
now on this one, like, which you didn't say in that one, when you go to a place over there, nobody else can take that spot.
Yes.
This one, you can go to
true.
the same spot, but you have these little energy tiles. So the person, if somebody is already there, now when you come in, you've got to add 1 energy to it.
Yes.
Then if somebody else wants to come there, now they have to add 2 energy tiles to their worker. So it's the largest stack. You got to go one more taller than the largest stack if you want to go there.
So you can never block somebody out of a space here. You make it more expensive to go there, but you can never block them. That being said, you may block them simply because they don't have that much energy left.
Right.
But in which case, you bide your time until that person has to call their people back.
So I was going to say, I just brought that up because you...
No, and you're right. I completely forgot about that.
That was a big difference in those 2 games.
I completely forgot about that. I love these barrels. These actually have some serious weight to them. But anyway, that is Energy Empire. Great game. According to the podcast, apparently my favorite of the set. And I can see that. I do really enjoy this one.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that one will, again, all 3 of these are in our collection, by the way. This one will stay.
So then we have
The Minutes to Midnight.
The Minutes to Midnight, which is basically the follow-up from the Manhattan Project.
This is the same designer as this one. Same premise as this one,
and
just
this
a
one's
different
all about
time.
the IBCMs and the nuclear power.
Yes. So this was the birth of nuclear power, and you're back to that headline feel in the rule book, and I love that. So here's your board. Just a little bitty thing. Oops, sorry. And it's actually a series of boards. Did I have it? I had it right side up.
It looked like it was upside down.
Okay, so here's your plain board. This is the worker placement area of the board. So once again, you're putting workers out, same as with this one. Once a worker's there, it's blocked. But this one has multiple things you can do in each one. So a lot of them, you can do the exact same action. You just have to pay a coin to do it. So it just gets a little more expensive again, but same concept. That you're kind of blocking out the cheaper actions, but you're not totally blocking the options.
Yeah, this one had more worker-specific spaces to go.
Yes, you had very specific spaces. You had spies, you had generals, you had, well, there's generals, you had politicians, and then you had just straight up laborers or generic workers.
Because in the first one, anybody could go to your board.
Yes.
On this
now
one,
it's
only
just
the laborers
spies.
can go, and laborers and spies can go to your board.
Yeah, the politicians and generals are busy elsewhere. So that's the main board. Then you have your player board. The player board, all right, so with this one, you are trying to gain tiles. You're building tiles off of this board, and it's the number of tiles out depend on player count. But you're building the tiles off of this board to put onto your board to do certain things. This one, if you ran out of spots on your board for the cards, you just kept laying cards down next to your board. There was no limit. This one, you're limited to what's on your board. That's it. You're also, your worker pool down here grows. You start with only 3 workers, and you have to gain workers by training them. So you can train people, you train anybody to be a politician or to be a general or to be a spy. But once this trained worker goes back to the general supply and becomes something new, and then you have to get that guy back over here to retrain him, and it's kind of a process throughout the game until you've got all your people. So on the board, there's a number of different tiles. You've got your laboratories, or what is it? It's you've got your factories. I'm sorry. You've got your factories where you are building. You're building your ships, your submarines, and your airplanes. You've got your research labs where you are researching on this board to allow your subs more actions, or you're gaining more powerful subs and more powerful bombers, or your reactors become more not powerful, but you produce more.
Produce more, yeah.
Yeah, your reactors produce more. Your ICBMs.
You can hold more.
You can hold more there. So this is your research board for your research labs. You've got your reactors. Every time you choose to do your reactor, then you are gaining, where'd they go? These guys, based on where your reactor sits, your reactor research sits. Your ICBM silos, which you can just start piling these on, and these are points at the end of the game. You've got your
ABM launcher.
ABM
That's
launchers.
your defense.
Yep, that's a defense mechanism, and then you've got your test site. Everybody can have, well, you can have any number of test sites, I guess, but the test sites basically become radioactive. You can't do anything with them. You can't replace them.
Once you do a test
once they've been tested, yes. But they're points. They're points every round, so you might want to, or every phase. I don't remember how they break it down.
If you've used a test site, yes. The person who's used the most test sites gets a certain amount of points in the round.
At the end of the round, each round, yeah. So with this one, there's tokens around the edge of the board, the score track, that indicate when certain things are going to score. And each scoring is different. At one round,
it's bombers, it's submarines, it's IBCMs.
Yeah.
And then
there's one more. But regardless, each so many rounds, and that moves every time somebody calls their workers back. So you can prolong the game by using every single one of your workers, but...
Oh, third world countries.
Okay. Oh yeah, there's a spot up here where you can go to another person's to a third world country and try to control that country, and only your politicians can go there. I forgot about that on the board. Other players can do that on your board. But okay, so here was my main problem with this one, is that by the end of the game, I felt like I had maxed out everything. I had maxed out my research. I had maxed out my board. I had maxed out how many tiles I could get. I had maxed out how many workers I could have. Everything was maxed out. There was no good choices left.
Well, I noticed that every game we played of this, you would have 2 research labs.
Yes.
And the more research labs you have, the more you can research.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were screaming up the research track. I was going with other things, and I wasn't going up the research track as fast. So by the end of the game, I was still having stuff to do. You were done with the research, which is the main part of the game. So yeah, well,
that's just it. But once I maxed out on my research, everything else I could do was maxed out too, because I had that research, which allowed me to move up faster in other areas.
Right. So you don't.
Yeah.
Lesson learned: don't take 2 research tracks.
See, but that's just it. I feel like you had to. I don't know.
I was to the end of the research tracks by the end of the game.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I think it's a good one. I don't think it's as good as the other 2. Personally. Oops, that's the wrong box lid. That's the box lid. Okay. But we are going to hold on to all 3 because, it's a set and can't get rid of one.
Well, you can, but I like that one too.
No, that's fine.
The Energy Empire was my favorite one, though.
Yes.
But I actually like this one more than I like that one.
Oh, and see, I like this one more.
So that's why we're keeping all 3.
Yes. but anyway, that is it for this episode. We are done with the first episode of the M's. M's, yes. But let us know if you have any of these. Do you agree with our what I want to say our ideas, our thoughts.
Our review.
Thank you. Do you agree with our thoughts on these? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Did we make the right decision? I feel like we got rid of a lot on this one, but it was all stuff from the other room.
Yes. So, and only one of these went over there. So
yeah, only one moved. So, but anyway, yeah, that is it.
So also listen to our podcast because we review a lot of these on our podcast.
Yeah,
you can go back and listen to what she actually talked about on this and what she forgot about.
Yeah.
But until then, we'll see you at the next one.